Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most underrated cricketers of all time, Greg Chappell. Well, a quick disclaimer, you see his statistics here and he's like, well, he's an ordinary batsman. Well, he's not ordinary, he's a very good batsman, but people will be thinking, well, what's this different from other batsmen? Steve Smith averages like 60. The difference is he's given a really challenging bowling attack. Bowling of those days was really tough, and you must admit that the pitches nowadays are basically batting belters. So in those days, you'd have these West Indian quicks steaming in, people like that. It's just hard work to face. This is back in 1974-75 with Greg Chappell's knock against England. And it was, remember, they didn't wear helmets back in those days, so of course there was a lot of challenges in this style of batting. Of course, I had to go back to those days to demonstrate, but look at his numbers. I mean, it's tough to tell because there was less data back in those days. So, of course, they're some of the things they had to go through. But if you go on YouTube, give yourself a favour, look at Michael Holding, example of some of the great West Indian quicks from those days. Just, people like him steaming it in, and what can you really do? So, yeah, if it wasn't for those awesome steaming in pace quicks like the West Indies had back in those days, and they had professional helmets like nowadays, and they had those longer bats and stuff like that, Greg Chappell probably would have averaged 60 or 70. And this is the argument, who's the best batsman of all time? So you look at Don Bradman, right? Well, you see, he was given pretty cheap quality bowling. He was giving players who've just came from the war. So you wouldn't be given the fast pace. You'd be giving about 100 kilometres an hour stuff. This is Greg. Yeah, he didn't have much protection, Bradman, but still, and that's another story. But Chappell, the Chappell brothers, they were given a little bit more protection than Bradman, but the bowling they were given was like 155 kilometres an hour every ball almost. It was very high, and nowadays it's looked on like, oh, they didn't bowl that fast. Well, actually, they didn't have very good quality speedometers back in those days, so how did you know? They probably passed 160 at times. But yeah, so it's all a challenge. Facing that pace is very, very nerve-wracking. And yeah, the players, well, they played for fun, but gee, that was heat those days, and you get why people loved cricket back then. So that's basically the video about why Greg Chappell's the best, not the best batsman of all time. I wouldn't say he's the best of all time. I mean, in Test cricket, he averages 10 less than Steve Smith. But the bowls he was given Jofra Archer, basically. Players that were like Jofra Archer, they bowled the pace and bounce like Jofra Archer, or better, and they had the line and length of Anderson and Broad, just as an example. So you just imagine how hard it would be for a batsman. I'm just comparing to Ashes 2019, because if as an Australian batsman, you're given an attack like England's attack, but the bowlers are capable of doing two bowler rolls at once, bowling beautiful line and length and getting great bounce out of the wicket, which is hard to get. And as well, line, length and bounce and pace. Most bowlers are only line bowlers and pace, like Archer, but those bowlers just got everything right, and the quality of that cricket is just amazing. You'll just be surprised. It's my goodness, it's awesome. Check out our featured channels, AA Cricket, Galactic Ice Wave, and The Cool Boy Superhuman, as well as Analog Casual, and have a nice day. Check out all our other videos on this channel, and do this.
Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel.